Hi guys, so I am getting ready to do 4 mason jar tumblers with the 3D lids. I got these from Maker Flow. They've been in and out of stock because these are getting so popular, but they do come with a straw. It's a telescoping stainless straw. I'm probably not going to use these straws, but I'm just showing you what they come with. They do come boxed. They do come with the care card. I have 4 of them. 3 out of the 4 I've already prepped, but I'm going to do this video mostly in fast mode because you've seen me do the toppers, and because I'm doing 4 of them, it's going to get lengthier. So I don't have my white spray paint in here, but I'm going to spray paint one gloss jungle green, 1 gloss sun yellow, because they didn't have matte in either of these colors, and then 1 of each is going to be the color on the bottom and white on the top, kind of an ombre. So that's what I'm going to do with these. To prep these, I am giving them a light sand, of course, and you do have to tape these because of the way the lids screw on. So I'm using electrical tape. It works better for me. It's more flexible. And I actually really hate working on tumblers that I have to tape, but it is definitely 100% necessary with these. So right where the lid sits at the top of that lip is where I'm going to tape. So leave yourself a tab so you can grab it when it's time to remove it, because when you're doing these, you're going to be taping and untaping a whole bunch of times. Otherwise, you're going to end up with a mess and a lot of cleanup. So that's all I'm doing to prep this. I'll get it in its football on a handle. For my lids, I'm going to work directly onto the lid. These have a lip, so it's going to hold some of my resin. And to fill the hole, because I don't want anything getting in the hole, I actually took a little piece of a straw topper that's silicone, and it fits in there and opens up inside it, so it's going to protect that hole really well. I cut 1 topper into 4 pieces since I had 4 cups to do at a time. But you just put it in there and it seals right around that hole, so that ought to be perfect. I'll be able to pull that out once I'm done. It's silicone, so nothing's going to stick to it. So that's it for that. These are my fruit slices I got from Amazon. I have slices and wedges. I'm going to do 1 of each for these 4. So, and I will get links to this stuff down below. For my ice, I had this package from Hobby Lobby. And this is just acrylic vase filler. This came with a larger size and smaller size. And they do have acrylic strings in them once in a while. But this one came with 2 sizes. I haven't found one on Amazon that has 2 sizes yet. But my Amazon ice did arrive. So, these are the ones from Amazon. And they're kind of more of an irregular cut size-wise, but they are actually a little bit smaller than the bigger ones from the Hobby Lobby filler. So I now have like 3 sizes to work with, but I think this size alone, because they're a little bit smaller, would actually be fine to just use on their own, because they will pack in a little tighter around themselves. Like, they'll pack in tight and fill the lid entirely by themselves. So you could just use these. So I'm going to get a link to this one down below also. But what I'm going to do is, for my lids, you saw how I'm going to build it, but I will place my fruit slice however I want it and build around that. But this will be pretty early in the process applying these. So, and I will use a tall straw, so it'll go above the fruit slice. But I am not making my lids removable toppers. I am strictly using resin to build them. I am not using any kind of glue. I am using my KS Resin Liquidy Split. It's setting up fast enough and holding around everything, so I'm not concerned with any other alternative glues or anything I have to worry about. So what I'm using is the KS Resin Liquidy Split Ultra UV. You could use your regular resin, whatever you use, and just let it thicken up till you're getting towards the end of your working time, and then use that to build these. But I'll start by, you'll see me pouring a layer in and then placing all my ice and my fruits, and then I'm going to let that layer sit a bit, and then I'm going to come back in and do a second layer. So that's what you'll see me doing with the fruits. I may tape off, and I think I'm going to do that. And this will just be a one-time tape. But I'm just going to tape off around the edges. Not build a dam or anything high, just so if I spin the cup around or move the lid, I mean, while I'm working on it, I don't contaminate my edges. It's just going to save me a little bit more cleanup in the end. It's not necessary if you can work neatly. Don't bother, but I am not the neatest worker, especially since I'm using just resin, which keeps it a little more fluid than if you had built it with glue. So that is the prep for everything. I'm going to go out and spray paint them all, and then I'll come back in and you'll see me glitter all the tumblers. And I'm going to use the epoxy method to glitter them. And I may not even put them on the turner, because using the epoxy method, the glitter is going to be so thin, I may just hang them on my drying rack. But because I'm using the fast set, I'm going to let them sit for about an hour and then pull this tape before it can fully dry on there. So, but you'll see me do all of that. I'll be back when my tumblers are prepped. Alright, apparently I can't remember to hit record, but I'm going to hang method apply my glitters to all of these. So all I did was stand it up, pour about a quarter size puddle, maybe just a little puddle the size of that middle ring, and then just smoothed it all around. Made sure I got this lip, and I'll show you how I started on that one. But that was the solid green one. This is the two-tone yellow one. I know you're really close here, but just a little puddle like that. That's all it takes for a hang method. So you just keep working it down. That's all it takes for not just hang method, but glitter using your epoxy as an adhesive to begin with. Remember, this is all taped. When I've got all four glittered, I'm going to set a timer, because this is Liquidy Split by KS Resin. I'm going to set my timer for about a half hour after I finish glittering the fourth cup. And then I'm going to come in and pull all of my tapes. So I am going to fast forward from this point on. You don't need to hear me chattering away about something that you've seen me do many, many times. I will go over my glitters real quick though. Let me set this down. So for my green, I'm going to use the mask from LMNOP, and I will put these on the screen as I'm using them. For my yellow, I'm going to use Blane from Glitter Bees. And for my whites, I'm going to use a cheat. So if I don't go all the way over the color to start, it'll blend up. But I'm going to use the Mistress cheat from It's Pretty Personal. So, going into fast mode. Okay, so you can see what a nice crisp line that has. Usually when you overlap your tape, you'll get this little spot. This will clean right back up later, so I'm not going to worry about that. It's pretty normal, pretty standard, but I'm going to go back in and tape just slightly further than where that line is now. Just so the next coat will go ever so slightly past the glitter and make sure that layer is sealed well. So I'm going to get all 4 of these taped and then come back in and get a coat of resin on each of them. I'm going to make sure that seal is good. So I'm just going to get them all taped. I'm not going to show you taping all of them, and I will be back to put the resin on. Before I go over and coat those cups, I do have some epoxy set aside that I am going to go ahead and drizzle over my lids a little bit carefully. These are like already set up, but I want to drizzle some in and fill in some holes. And let it start to harden up on top of the current ice pieces that are placed. So I'm just going to drizzle a little bit on each one. It'll just get in the holes and help seal everything. And I just dripped down the side, and that is why we taped. For just in case oopsies like that. I'll still wipe it off though in a second here. I want to make sure I get down the side of these slices really well, especially just to make sure they're held in well. Okay, so I'm going to let the rest of that sit and thicken a minute, and I'm just going to come and wipe off where I dripped there. Alright. So now I'm going to turn you and get these. I forgot to mention that that was about 130 that I mixed up, 130 mLs total, but that included this white cup down here at the end that needed a flood coat. So they all got a pretty good flood coat, plus that was the 20 I set aside for the lids. So I'm going to bring you back over here, and we are going to finish up the lids that have now been sitting for a little bit. This resin should be getting pretty thick. So I'm going to go ahead and put some more on top again. And I'm probably not going to build this much higher. I don't really want it like piled super duper high. I just don't care for that look myself, so. Well, I'm probably going to need some more cubes. So I'm going to scatter some more on the table next to where I'm working. I'm going to get some more out of both packages. And I'm going to not build over the yellow straw. I'm going to keep them back away from that. But I'm just going to kind of go in and fill in here and there. Because again, I don't really want them built too high. Like that. And if I feel like I need any extra on a piece, I will just swipe a little on there. Now that this is starting to thicken because I mixed this and it is liquidy split, it sets up fairly quick. So I can kind of use it that way as an actual adhesive if I can see there's no resin where I'm going to apply the piece. But a lot of this I did get quite a bit of resin into. So but just build it up however much you like. You can do multiple layers. I just don't really find it necessary to have a huge ton. It's whatever, personal preference, as with everything tumblers. Especially when you're doing them ready to ship and not custom order. You can kind of do it however you like to do it. So I turn it around and look at the back side here. I'm just going to put one piece back here. And I've only prepped 2 of my decals for this so far. I have the others ready to print. I just haven't printed them yet. But I'm probably not going to stay up late enough to get it decaled tonight, so it'll be tomorrow when I come in to show you that step. Also, how you do these is completely personal preference. If you want to use the magnets and everything and make these removable, you can. For this one, you can't use the car coaster molds. You're going to have to use a circle mold or get the acrylic pieces that are cut for them, because you need that center hole. I'm not sure where I just picked that piece up from. And I'm going to go ahead and stick it right in there. I prefer to build directly on the lid. I'm more comfortable with this method. I don't know if you can buy second lids for the Masons or replacement lids. But with the regular tumblers, it's easy enough to pick up a second lid if you want one that's undecorated. And to me, that's the safer alternative than putting a magnet on the lid. So I think I'm good here. I'm not going to build these up anymore. I'm going to let these sit and dry, and they should be good. I may drizzle one more layer on when I do the top coat on the tumblers, just to really lock everything in place. I do think I'm going to try and get one little piece in there quick. And I did drip a little on my mat, so I do have a little bit at the bottom of that one, but I'll be able to clean that up. But I see this little gap here I don't really like. So, there. But again, this is all personal preference, how much you want. I'm just going to take a baby wipe and wipe that rim off right now. Slide that right out of there. I mean, you can see they're sturdy. When they're done, I'll be able to pick up the whole cup by the lid, by holding onto the piece of fruit. So, I like the security of that myself. But, so that is that. I will be back tomorrow to decal them and everything. Again, I'm watching my time, and I'm going to remove that tape again at about the 40-minute mark. So I'm not going to come back and show you that again, because you've seen me remove the tape. But I will be back to decal and retape and then get a final coat on all of it. Okay, so I'm ready to get these finished up. I printed my labels on white printable vinyl. I actually prefer the Cricut brand so far of all the brands I've ever tried, but this one I printed on StarCraft, which is okay, it works. So that's what I used for these, but this is just a sneak peek at how they're going to look. This one still needs to be sealed, but that's how it's going to be complete. So all of the lids are completely done, so they're just chilling, waiting for the cups. Again, I'm going to tape them off one last time. When you're retaping and retaping and retaping, you want to make sure you're, oh my gosh, at least above the line where you left off. You know, don't go below it. Stay right at it, or a tiny bit above where you did your last one. And if in your head you can work out the directionality of the spin of your tumbler and which way you need your tape to make it easier to pull while your tumbler is spinning, do yourself a favor and do that. If your tumbler is reversible, it doesn't matter. You can just switch the direction of your turn. But it just makes it easier when it comes time to peel the tape off if you don't have to fight your turner. I forgot to mention that the first couple rounds of tape here, and always leaving the tab makes it easier as well. But like my turner, if I have it turning this way, like say it was turning away from me, when I pull this, it'll pull it away from me and make it that much easier. So that's what I mean by that. So I'm going to get my last two labels on. I am hand cutting these. They're just fine hand cut. So I'm not going to fight with my Cricut to get it to print and cut, because sometimes it doesn't like to work here. So I'm going to get this one cut. I'm going to get the last 2 jars labeled, and I am going to get a coat of resin on these, and then I will bring you back in to show the finished product, because you don't need to see me put a clear coat of resin on here. Printable vinyl does not require sealing. For whatever reason, the printable vinyls can go through the inkjet and come out just fine, ready to go. So that is it. I will be back with the finished product. I forgot one last little thing. I pulled my silicone plugs out of some of the lids. You can see there is absolutely nothing on the bottom. So all I do is take it from the bottom and pop it right out, and you can see how perfectly clean that is. I have absolutely no cleanup other than to wash them down required for these whatsoever. So that was a pretty cool idea I had, and it worked exactly as I had hoped. So that's it for now. Alright, these are all done. When life gives you limes, make margaritas, don't be a sour bitch. When life gives you lime, make mojitos, don't be a sour bitch. When life gives you lemons, add vodka, don't be a sour bitch. And when life gives you lemons, make lemonade, don't be a sour bitch. And the cute little ice lids. I love every single one of these. And I am so pleased with my ombre on these two. They look amazing. And the best part about these was, other than washing them when they're fully cured and making sure those tails are gone, there's no cleanup to do to these because I so diligently taped them and retaped them and taped them again. So I'm very proud of these and very happy with the way they look. But that is it for this one.